and his family lived, quite far away down south, and he just literally wanted to sell up and go. And his biggest driver was he just he couldn't face loads of people traipsing through his house through an agent. His perception was, you put it on the market, an agent's going to have, hundreds of people coming round day in, day out, tramping through his house, his nice, quiet old house. And he was just like, no, if you give me, a decent offer, that's good. That's good enough for me.
And this is the thing, right? His idea of decent and our idea of decent might be completely different. Like, just even that word and that terminology, give me a decent offer. Like, you kind of need to say, well, this works for us at, and put a number on it, because you've no idea what decent is to him.
Yeah. So we worked, I remember the time, we worked out, a number that worked for us. And we put that over and he went, yeah, that'll do.
Yeah.
And that was it. Simple as that. And yes, could he have got more if he'd gone to an agent? Yeah, he probably would have got more. But, he liked us. We gave him the number that he needed in order to, and we said, we'll do it quick, so we can be.
I'm just going to go on a little side of piece section now on, why vendors will rather sell to you, the investor, than go to the agent. And you have a number of clues in that little story we've told you there about that guy. If he had gone to an agent, he would have had to pay the agent 1% of the price that he would have achieved. He would have had to completely clean the place up massively, declutter it, get it ready for photographs. He would have had to, like you say, have lots of strangers traipsing through his house, disrupting his life, because he'd have to hide his dirty washing and empty his bin. All the neighbours in the area would know that his house is on the market. So if he was trying to be discreet, the gossip mills would be going crazy. The photographs of the inside of his house would be open for everyone to see. And a price is advertised publicly for everyone to see. So there are plenty of people out there that want to sell their house without any of that stuff happening, as well as the cost, right? So in Scotland, you've got the home report and the marketing costs and everything else. Whereas obviously in England, you've got the marketing costs and the agency fees. But there's loads of reasons why a vendor would want and would rather sell to you, the investor, off market, and will take a lesser price because they're saving all that cost and hassle, than going into the traditional list it with an agent route.
Yeah, and this guy, he might have, I don't know, he might have got a few £1,000s more, maybe 10 grand more going to an agent net after costs and everything else.
Yeah, but the time it would
bought the property for buttons 40 years ago. Probably he bought that for a few £100 40 years ago, that property.
Yeah.
And I can't actually remember off the top of my head what the number was that we offered. It's probably somewhere in the 80s, 70s, 80s, something like that. But that was fine for him. That's just what he needed. And it was fine. He could take that money. He didn't need to squeeze every penny out of it. To him, it was worth just getting a deal done and getting on with his life.
Think about the time, right? So he saw our advert, he phoned it, we met him, and he had an offer within a number of hours. Yeah. Whereas if he'd gone down the agency route, it would have taken weeks and weeks and weeks. Well, maybe let's say 3 weeks to get it even listed, with all the hassle of decluttering and cleaning and everything else. And then maybe 3 weeks of viewing before closing date set, so he's saved himself 6 weeks of pain.
It's really easy to assume when you're out there that every single vendor, their main motivation is to get as much possible money for their property as possible. It's really easy to make that assumption, but you're going to be wrong a lot of the time if you make that assumption. For a lot of people out there, their main driver is not the most possible cash that they can get for that property. There are other reasons. There are other things going on.
Yes.
Examples, somebody inheriting a property. We've had situations, I certainly have out mentoring in the field, where we're viewing a property in Scotland where somebody has died and a relative from down south has come up and they're selling it, and they live 400 miles away. All the motivation there is just to get this away and quickly, because mentally they've already spent the money. So getting a few extra thousand, but it taking 3 months longer, it's not really a driver for them. They'd rather take a decent offer now.
Yeah.
Just be done with it, and
back to negotiating. I went off
part of it, to be fair.
It is all part of it. It is part of it.
So when you're dealing with direct to vendor, it's all about, understanding the personality type, understand your own personality type, the bits you've got to dial up and dial down, to build rapport, get the information you need, to find the motivation to then put an offer based on, that information that you've got. And that's your best way of getting a deal over the line in that kind of situation.
Yeah.
So
I love direct to vendors because it is people, and if you can really tune into your people side of your personality, that will really, really help.
it's really important to understand that property investing is a people business.
Yeah.
The houses, they're important, but it's a people business. Whether you're dealing with direct vendor or dealing with agents, it's all about the people.
Yeah.
So, and you can, swing things in your favor by being a good people person. So if you're not naturally one, you've got to learn to be one, or get someone in your team who's good at that.
Yeah.